Good morning. Welcome, everyone. Jeremy, how's my sound? How are you, Jeremy? I have not talked to you in a couple days. Team David Meltzer, let's get everything pinned up there correctly. Don't forget, I'm back in the closet all week. There we go. I am going to be doing a free training this Friday, like I do every Friday, on my mission to empower over 1 billion people to be happy. So join me. It's free and it's Friday, and they replay it too. If you can't make it, let me know. Looking forward to, hey Prince, good to see you. Kendall, thank you for joining me. Kyle, everybody, thank you so much. Let me get some questions going here. Samir, Jake, great. Leslie, thank you for joining. When will Ronda Rousey return? Hey, let's get her on here. Jakey Baker, let's ask Ronda herself, when are you going to return? Josh, hello team. Good to see you, Josh. I'm new here. Welcome. Come live with me. Let's see what goes on. We got people waiting in there live. Let's add up the questions in there, Jakey Bakey. Let's get everybody going. Come on, let's get some energy. It's Tuesday morning. Up top of the head to you. How are you? Oh, we lost the top of the head. Anyway, if you want to come live, let's do this. Tyler, the closer, you got a question for me? Let's get it moving on. Good morning, everybody. Looking forward to talking with you. No Blaine, no Jake, no questions. My team has let me down. Where's everyone turning in from? Thank you. We talked about this, Jake. I'm going to publicly tell you I'm disappointed. Team Meltzer let me down. Here we go. I guess it's progress, not perfection. Nothing I can do. Thank you so much. Here we go live. Hello.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good. How are you this morning?
I'm great. How can I help you? What question you got for me?
I actually just wanted to join in, and here I am. And
right on. Well,
just
you're
playing
glowing. Thank you for joining me.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Where are you calling in from?
I'm calling in from Las Vegas, Nevada.
Oh, I love Vegas.
I actually didn't expect you to answer, so hello.
Hi. Yeah, that happens to a lot of people.
I was really like eating an apple in my kitchen and just playing here.
You're like, oh shoot, he answered. Oh no, now what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, exactly.
Any comments, questions, or concerns? Anything I can help you with at all?
Yesterday, and I'm just so excited about you. So I just wanted to share that.
You're too kind.
I was excited to see you on here and wanted to just say hello. And I'm here,
Awesome.
and I'm so happy you're here.
Awesome. Have you ever been to one of my free trainings?
I have not.
You have to come on Friday. Every Friday I do them 11 a.m. And I've been doing them for 20 years, but now I do them online. Okay. So well, I will make sure you DM me. I'll get you an invitation.
I'll be there.
You're awesome.
Thank you so much for answering. Love you.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you. You made my day.
You made me.
Oh, thank you. Bye-bye. Oh, what a sweetheart. That's awesome. Cool. See, that's awesome. Thank you, Rococo. All right, we got some questions in here. All righty. Good question. What's your favorite part of your week every day? So one of the things I want everyone to grab onto is that consistent, persistent behavior. 2 minutes a day is worth more than 2 hours on a Saturday. So I take vacation every day. I include my health and focus on that every day. I have activity I get paid for every day. I have activity I don't get paid for every day. And that balance I find to be much more productive, allows me to be way more accessible. And with the right gratitude lens, one that finds the light, the love, and the lessons and everything, like that wonderful young lady there, things happen for the better. So much in debt cannot find my way out. I only make $14 an hour. I am more than $50,000 in debt. Okay, let's focus in on what we can do, our skills, our knowledge, and our desire. Let's find people that sit in the situation that we want to be in. Let's look and really take inventory of our values. Let's go ahead and align those values with the capabilities that you have, and align those with companies that are doing well right now, or very stable right now, or for something in the future. Let's focus on paying off that debt. So call your debtors. This is no better time in the world to renegotiate debt. So if you haven't called every one of your debtors and told them because of COVID, you are having difficulties and you want help, can they relieve you of your debt? Can they defer your debt? This is the best time in history to deal with your debt, but you can't ignore it. You have to focus and then focus on controlling and stabilizing your debt and then making more money by staying more focused on the capabilities you have and where they're aligned with where you can make more money. Okay? Feel free. Join me Friday because we'll deal with the motivation versus inspiration and seeing how people focus in on the wrong things. So who won Jaeger Pong, you or Mike? That is a critical question. Mike did because of Jake, though. Jake carried Mike. I know he's a Duke extraordinary athlete, but Jakey Bakey, who's on this live right now, caught on fire, took Andrew and I with our big lead, I think 6'2", took us down. And I had to eat kosher for 2 weeks, but Jakey had to pay for it. That's how bright I am. But I'm not keeping kosher anymore. Sorry. Morocco, Marrakesh, how are you? I love Morocco. One of the best trips I've ever taken. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you very much for joining us. Certainly appreciate that. Andrew, good to see you. We took the L barely because of Jakey. Hashtag kosher David. Yes. I love your free tanning. Why do you do them? So 20 years ago, I started doing it to empower others, to empower others. As I got more clear on what I wanted to empower others with, it was simply happiness. As everybody knows, happiness is the greatest disease that was ever manufactured. It can be spread by just witnessing it. It spreads like wildfire, and it strengthens people. It strengthens every part of them, their light, their love, their lessons. It strengthens their immune system. So let's share happiness. And I created now virtually these Friday trainings. And I don't have to buy lunch for anyone. I used to buy lunch for everyone. They became a lot cheaper for me. So it's even easier to do them for free. But they're about empowering others. I'm looking for 1,000 people every week that will come and to empower another 1,000 people, to empower another 1,000 people to be happy. 1,000 times 1,000's a million times 1,000's a billion. I'm going to create a collective consciousness of over 1 billion people with just plain happiness. I'm going to simplify this pause that we have, this stillness, this quiet time, in order to effectuate people's perspective that happiness is the most powerful thing that we should be looking. And instead of looking to how things will make us happy, it's what are we doing that relates back to the thing we already have, which is happiness, because we're already connected to the greatest source of love, light, and lessons. We're already created to be happy. We already connected to happiness. So we have it reversed. And so I want to teach people through different steps, different values, different pragmatic things that we can do in order to have that perspective. Any response from Kelly Slater? I'm doing an interview with him. We're working on it. I know Alex is big in the surfing world, and so she's reached out. We've had some unbelievable big wave surfers, McDermott and Laird. So we'll get Kelly, and we want to ask him his perspective. So let's see here. Somebody wants to go live here. We'll go ahead and add you in. Perfect. Thank you for all the questions, by the way. It takes a few minutes to get going, I guess, huh? This group.
Hey, David, how's it going?
I'm well. How are you?
Yeah, very good. Thanks. Very good. I actually got to know you through the Wolves podcast, Jordan Belfort.
Yeah, I got a lot of crap for doing Jordan's podcast, but it was well worth it. I love it.
Yeah, no, it was amazing. I mean, I got to know you, and I think a lot of people that follow you here as well say the same thing. Like a lot of us kind of got to know you from there, so that's awesome. Yeah, I'm loving your kind of wisdom that comes on so regularly. Like it's super interesting stuff.
Thank you.
So I'm just going to jump right into the question for you, right? Because I'm interested in kind of getting your insight on this.
Yep.
So I grew from like 0 to 100,000 followers in less than a year, targeting the Middle East. So I do kind of self-development, mindset kind of talks, and I've got a huge audience in the Middle East. And I mean, I sell out events across North Africa and the Middle East, but I'm massively interested in kind of switching to the English, right? Because I speak both fluently. But what I kind of did initially was just, I said, okay, I'm going to hit kind of the Middle East, grow that, and then kind of launch out. So What's your kind of opinion on that, if you were in my shoes, say?
Yeah, so what you want to do is replicate what you're doing in the Middle East by understanding three things. Where's your strongest signal, right? What are the lessons and the stories that resonate most with your big audience? Two, what does that spectrum look like? What does the audience look like, right? What is the pull, the hook, and the ask of that audience? What do they look like? Are they 55-year-old women? Are they 24-year-old boys? Who is that spectrum? Because you have access around the world, not just in America, right? In the English-speaking world, if that's where you want to go, to about 4.2 billion people that are English-speaking that are available to you, right? And this is the time. You obviously have the right frequency. So what we want to do is identify that frequency, identify the spectrum, and then practice, right? Keep on getting clear. I'm still practicing as well, right? My message is getting clearer and clearer and clearer. Go back, when I started with Gary Vee 3 years ago, Super Bowl, and watch my messages. They're not nearly as clear, right? They're not, They don't vibrate as fast, right? Because I'm getting better at what I do. I'm practicing it myself. I do free trainings on Friday for this, and I would love for you to come and invite it's all free, invite your whole audience there. We can promote you there and use you as an example. I do private groups. I do one-on-one stuff to help people build those brands. I've been doing it traditionally for sports and athletes, from Lee Steinberg to Sports One Marketing to big brands and events, from Super Bowl, Pro Bowl, Masters, Kentucky Derby, Breeders' Cup. So I understand frequency. I understand the strength of the signal, the spectrum, and the clarity of the message. And you apply those three things, I promise you. Also, the last thing is the incremental growth. You've experienced this acceleration, so yours is quite apparent that you can accelerate and grow, but just allow it to happen, right? Don't worry about how many people follow you, right? What we want is ambassadors. I was talking about, somebody asked me why I do my Friday trainings. I want to empower people like you that can empower people to empower people, because then we get the exponentiality out of what we're doing. If I just teach you how to do it and you don't empower anybody, that doesn't get us very far. But someone like you that, I can empower, and then you can empower the 100,000 you have, and I can teach you how to empower another million, to empower another. We're starting to get to that collective consciousness, because obviously you and I share similar values about helping people, providing value and service to people. You tell your own stories, you have your own lessons, but in the end, we are very synergistic in what we're trying to do. So I'd love to have you work with me. I'd love to get you information, and I'm happy to help you, but focus in on your frequency and stay true to it. Also, consistent, persistent, right? Every day as much as you can. As you know, once you found me at Jordan Belfort, it was consistent. You see me every day. It's always consistent. And it's interesting because you learn more things, because you're learning as I'm learning, right? I'm transcoding and interpreting what I'm learning every day with all the exposure to these great people to get the people to you. Does that sound fair?
Listen, that's absolutely awesome. I'm not going to take much more of your time, David, because I can literally talk to you for an hour. So I'll contact you again with the contact information. But just before I go, where I'm at right now actually is more like, where do I put that energy, right? Because I wouldn't say I kind of cracked the formula, but I kind of know what it takes to kind of get the hooks in, as in like, what is it that people look for? But for me, how I look at it right now is, you've got 400 million Arabic speakers, and they're kind of like an unserved, slightly ignored demographic in the world. And as a result, there's a massive thirst for the content there. And that's exactly what I've seen. And that's ultimately why I've kind of paid attention to that space. Having said that, there are some cons that's associated to it. So because I know that time is finite, energy is finite, I want to be able to strategically decide where I'm going to put my energy. That's pretty much the question I'm trying to answer.
Yeah. So I did answer it with the frequency and the understanding the spectrum, but it's very little extra energy for you, because under the concept of the stage theory, what you should be doing after you understand the frequency is understand what the stage theory is. One, how do you capture what you're already doing? How do you modify what you're already doing? How do you amplify what you're already doing? And how do you perpetuate what you're already doing? You don't have to recreate anything. As you know, you said your frequency. So how do you capture, modify, amplify, and perpetuate? And that's not much energy at all. It's already technology that exists, and you just have to effectuate, the resources that you put behind capture, modification, amplification, and perpetuation. Does that help you?
That's awesome, David. Look forward to working more with you, closer actually. All right.
Yeah, me
Thanks
too,
a
man.
lot.
I'm looking forward to your whole community joining me on Friday. I'll build a whole Arabic community. I love it.
I'll let them know. Take care. Bye-bye.
Yeah, Habibi. Right on. Is this the link to register? Yeah, you just email me. You can register to 949-298-2905 is my text, or email me directly. I answer everything myself. Stage Theory, you got it. It's always there. Another friend is here. Let's see here. The amazing Eugene Rem. Talk about an entrepreneur, a successful entrepreneur. Unbelievable. My favorite restaurant, actually. And Eugene Rem with Catch Steakhouse, and of course Rumble Fitness as well. So there he is.
What's up?
What's up, man?
How are you, David? Good to see you. How's everything going?
Oh man, I miss you. I miss your restaurants. I miss your gyms. Everybody out there, it's the Rumble out there. But
yeah,
what you know, Tillman's a friend of mine as well, and I have certain friends like you that are extraordinary entrepreneurs that like this is one of those incidences that who would ever dream that every single one of your businesses get affected so deeply, you know what I mean? And I was just curious, you know, where and what you're doing in order to, you know, make it through the pause, because there's no doubt whatever you do, you'll be successful through this, but this period of time makes it very difficult for your businesses.
it's definitely it's been a challenge. If you would have said to me 6 months ago, hey, all 13 gyms, all 5 restaurants, New York, Los Angeles, Las Vegas, DC, Philly, closed at the same time on basically the same day, I would have that's one of those scenarios like, well, what if that happens? We all got bigger problems. So
right, yeah,
well,
exactly.
You know,
you know what, Eugene, that's a really good point nobody makes, right? This is one of these circumstances where everyone's like, if that happens, I don't really care if I ever have a restaurant. But it's such a weird circumstance that like for certain industries, it's completely an apocalypse, right? It's like, I should have different problems, but then again, I can still go to the grocery. I can still drive my car. I can go jogging out. Like, it's the weirdest dynamic that some people, it's like an apocalypse. And then you got these other businesses like, you know, like in my business, right? My sports business, apocalypse, right? Like sports events, you know, there's nothing. But the other businesses I have, right, are like, oh my God, I don't have enough time in the day to handle all the requests and the, you know, the stuff that's going on. But for you, you make a great point. My mind said the same thing. If that ever happened, if all my businesses closed on one day, I got bigger fish to fry. But it's this weird anomaly. And
yeah.
And then you got the timing of like, are we opening on May 18th or June 1st? Or do people sit like 6 feet apart? And then the fitness side of it is, are people going to actually want to come and touch each other?
Yeah, look, you know, you said something there before. You said, hey, there's no doubt that you're going to be great at whatever you do. And it's a funny thing, right? When all of your things are going great, of course there's no doubt because everything is going great. And then when the one thing you've been doing for 20 years, which is basically creating experiences, is at the forefront of something that's being challenged for the near or long-term future, it actually does seep in that first moment of doubt. It actually does seep in, uh-oh, is that it? Am I done? Because I'm not really the most technical person. I'm not the most financial person. I've always created experiences and brought together with my partners tons of people in really tight spaces and created this magic that you can't write on a spreadsheet or on a document. So when that stops, it really gives you perspective. So then, you know, look, I always say, right, someone who's very generous is someone who has 20 sushi rolls and then goes, take some, have some, it's all good. But when you only have one, are you so generous with it? Do you want to give it out? So can I keep the same confidence that I had when things were killing it now, when in theory, all of my businesses are super challenged? So I test myself in that, and I'm challenged in those situations. And I have to remind myself, like, oh, I can't just spew it when things are good. Now when things are challenged, in fact, I have to probably really lean into that even more. So that doubt is there and it is real, but that has to be overcome. And if that's what I have to learn from this process, yes, I have groceries. Yes, my parents, my friends, my family are all healthy. Yes. I could do weights. I could do a workout with 20-pound dumbbells and a floor mat. I'm good, right? I don't really need anything else to live my life. So right now, I guess if the only challenge I have is a business challenge, then let's spend this time and focus on our business challenges. So what are we doing, right? We are focusing on what we can do, right? So sometimes the best offense is a good defense, and sometimes you have to fight, right? So in this scenario, the first step was to create a good defense, right? Minimize all your costs, minimize all your expenses, really get lean, because you need to be there for the long run. And I always say with our teammates, we got one tank of gas. So if we spend the tank of gas circling around the driveway and burning through it, we're never going to have enough to get where we need to go in the future. So limiting our exposure in the early stages, hard decisions, but smart decisions for the long run. And look, with Rumble, we've got this Zoom class, right, where we're giving our trainers the opportunity to teach their classes from home. So we're providing an opportunity to speak to our customers, keep the brand strong, and also bring some revenue to our trainers, which is super important. And on the catch side, we're starting to really think about what does the new normal look like, right? Because we were never normal to begin with. We were always these big, wacky restaurants that had 1,000 people in it, that blasted hip hop at 10:30 p.m. and didn't have classic managers, right? So we didn't wear shirts and ties, and we didn't wear suits, and we wore sneakers, and we were different. So, okay, somewhere in the last couple of years, that became normal. So now we have to become the new version of different. So what that looks like, we're still trying to figure out. I mean, step one, probably figure out delivery. And right now delivery hasn't been something we do. So we're probably going to move into delivery, probably start with California, move on to New York. Step two, think about what a smaller menu would look like, right? Like you can't have, just to give everyone a perspective, it's an assembly line at a restaurant. There are probably 20 people working to create that one dish that you get on your plate. So it's impossible to have 20 people working on something when you are at limited capacity. So sitting with the chef team and coming up what that new menu is going to look like, still keeping true to our three principles, right? Great food, great service, great vibe. Vibe, hard to have vibe with masks and temperature readings and everything that's going to be part of that new normal. But until when it becomes normal, that's just part of the vibe. So that's what we're gonna figure out.
I think I went through that in 2008, and what I started looking at was, you mentioned a skill of yours that's so marketable and something to focus in on and monetize, and that's you're really good at getting people together, right? And don't discount that, right? You guys have magic about attracting people, and that vibe that you talk about is one that you have always created and other people have copied. And so, using that skill set over the last 2 decades that you've had of creating a vibe through bringing people together. And if you can't bring them together in a tight space at a loud restaurant with, eclectic managers, you're going to figure out how to partner with Zoom and Uber to create, the catch of the day, and have 100 people on a Zoom eating at the exact same time, and the delivery service with a smaller menu or whatever it is. And I'm very confident in that of you guys and of you personally, that you don't lose your skills, you don't lose your knowledge, and you don't lose your desire, right? The game can change all around you, but the ball will always find the weaker player, not the strongest player. The strongest player is always going to score the touchdown. They could change the rules all they want on the greatest running back. He's still going to run and score touchdowns. I promise you. And the quarterbacks are always going to be they could change the rules whatever they want on the quarterbacks. But, when the rules were really tough for quarterbacks, there were still great quarterbacks, right? The Warren Moons, the Troy Aikmans, and the Steve Young. And then they changed the rules and everything. They're still great quarterbacks.
Yeah, unless you're Bill
Laimbeer.
Unless you're Bill Laimbeer, because if you can't punch the guy when he goes down the court, then you probably don't have a skill set in the NBA today. But yes, I think, look, if you're a one-trick pony and you only had a shtick, right, one style of a shtick, you could be really challenged. And look, I was around in 2008. We had one nightclub, 10 June in 2008. And I don't think we really understood what the term recession meant, because I think Mark and I were 30 years old. So we didn't, and again, we were not going to business school. So we certainly didn't know what a recession meant. But we started to see $5,000 tables go to $1,000 tables. And then we saw a lot of restaurants and nightclubs starting to close. So we realized that the experience aspect was always going to be there, but it needed to evolve. The same playbook that we used, we needed to switch it. But the general concept, bringing people together to have a great experience in an authentic environment to create moments, is something that we will always create. And quite honestly, at the other side of this, I'm pretty confident that there's going to be even more of it. And the extremism of people wanting to be together is going to be like, I think there was like a moment right before this of like anti-socialism. Like we were anti-social because we saw each other so much on social media, where people stopped connecting in person. And if there's anything that's going to come out of this, in my personal, non-educated opinion, is that people are going to be so thirsty for other human contact and using all five senses. Like I can see you right now and I can hear you, but we're not together. We're not hanging out. We're not at that level where we would be with all the energy of a lot of people. So as soon as we get that opportunity, and then this is where I use my Braveheart analogy, right? The guy's running back, Mel Gibson is running back and forth, and he's just saying, hold, hold, hold. The brands that can hold and survive this and be willing to wait for those hard moments and wait for those people to come near them, and at that right moment, attack, that's the companies that are going to be on the other side of this. So if the experience started 20 years ago as a big box nightclub and then transitioned into a restaurant and then transitioned into a fitness concept, the thing that stayed consistent was experience. So for anyone out there trying to figure out what their world looks like, keep to the core of what it is. Everything else may change around it, right? This shirt might have stitches here. It may have stitches there. It may have a big logo here one year. That's going to come in and out of trend, but it's always going to be a hoodie, and there's always going to be experiences. So they're always going to be there. So holding and being around for 2008 taught us a lot. And the togetherness, right? The togetherness. And I do agree with you. The people who were awesome quarterbacks will continue to score, but the people who were just one trick ponies or only good at clotheslining you when you went down for the basket, when they changed the rules, you're out of it. If you can't score a three in the NBA right now, you don't play.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. And I think that attitude of stabilizing and then preparing, you know, I tell some young entrepreneurs right now, and I love the fact that you're on here and say, well, I was only 30, because, you know, I get kids 19, 18, and I'm like, you have no idea, right? I'm 52 years old. So when someone tells me you're 30, they know that I have 22 years of dummy tax that I paid. 22 years of, that's all I've done every day. It's not like I went to school and was in the fraternity and was doing all that stuff, but not focusing. Since I've been 30 years old, all I focused in on was making a lot of money to help a lot of people and have fun. And that's all I vote. And you're going to make a ton of mistakes and learn a ton. And so I seek that stabilization. But more importantly, I tell young people, if you're not taking this time right now to develop your skills, acquire more knowledge, and work on practicing ending fear. The best thing about this time is a lot of these kids, last 13 years since you were 30, right? And 2008 happened. You have only seen the growth that these kids have seen since they were, you know, guys that are 35 were 22 the last time they saw any type, and they didn't, it had no effect on their life what the economy did. Now they have all this growth. Now they're going to have to see one thing. What's it like to practice ending fear? What is it like when tables drop from 5,000 to 1,000? What is it like to go into an interview and beg for a job that pays 1/3 what you used to make? What's it going to be like? Are you going to be able to handle that fear? Just like this round for you, that's your biggest challenge right now, is you're practicing ending those doubts, right? Am I good enough? And I'll tell you right now, there's no doubt in my mind. You're only better than you were when you 13 years ago, right? You're only better than you were.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It's funny, right? You need experience to appreciate experience, hence why it's experience. So
yeah, you don't know what you don't know.
Exactly. So I'm very happy that those 19-year-olds don't have experience, because what they do have is a lot more energy potentially and a lot more tech savvy, but experience is experience. And it's really, you know, that's why the great ones in every industry always stay in the industry and everyone else is just passing by. But I agree that the doubt is real and it does creep up. And if that is the challenge that's put in front of me or anybody else today, okay, sit in it. Don't run away from it. And that's the other thing, right? A lot of people work their way through their problems. They go out through their problems. They drink through their problems. They exercise through their problems. This is a version where you really don't have a choice but to sit and soak in whatever it is that makes you uncomfortable, insecure, because you can't just lean into all the awesome stuff because it's just not there. You can't hide in your work. You gotta live in your relationship. You gotta live within your four walls. You gotta live within the lack of stimulation from outside people. And you gotta live within the fact that you may not be making anywhere near the money that you made before. So who are you? Are you the dude with the money, or are you just the dude, right? So very big difference. And I'm excited. And I think in 2013 or whatever it is, Mark and I had a bunch of places, and a lot of them closed, and it felt like a disaster at the time, but it was the best thing that ever happened to us. Now, what a cliche, right? When you're back on the top, oh, it was so bad, and then everything worked out, right? But now when it's bad again, you got to remember that. And that is my North Star, the reminder that every time I thought things were a disaster, it was the biggest accelerator for success in my entire career. When things were dope and pretty awesome, I probably grew the absolute least because I wasn't challenged. I didn't have that friction. So I think if this is an opportunity that the majority of the people in this country or this world are challenged, then we have the biggest opportunity for growth and an acceleration into what the next version of us is. And hopefully that's a better version, and hopefully we can all learn from this. So that's my point of view. I just got to keep believing what I'm saying, because a lot of people say it and then they don't actually believe it. And I sometimes smell my own BS, and I'm like, no. I can't say it if I don't believe it. So I better remind myself. And that's a challenge. Being honest with you, it's a challenge.
I'm right with you. And this is, my third time through this. And as somebody that had hit the pinnacle and realized how empty I was and not enjoying the consistent, persistent pursuit of my potential. That was my biggest downfall. I'm lucky to have lived through, but my own bankruptcy in 2008 was, and it's cliche because people say, oh, it's easy for you to say now because you're even bigger and better than you were. Well, you know what? It's true though. You can say what you want. It's the best thing. And if I look back at all the challenging times, my worst time of my life is when I had everything. Literally, the most unhappy, worthless time of my life was when I was not pursuing something. And so now all I do is stay focused every day to enjoy that pursuit. I always say pain is an indicator to me now. Pain's an indicator that I have a lesson to learn, mental, physical, spiritual, emotional, or financial. Whenever pain comes into my life, I say to myself, I'm super excited because I have something that I'm supposed to learn. And the pain will go away when I learn it. The financial pain goes away when you learn it. The physical pain goes away when you learn it. The emotional pain goes away when you learn it. And that's the reminder that you give yourself when you get these, specks of ego-based emotion that say, shit, am I really walking the walk? Right? Because I'll do it when I'm training someone. I'll literally stop and say, gosh, that's really good advice you just gave that guy that's paying you. You should really listen to it, moron. I can't believe you this, right? Like yourself. And so that's my favorite part. Real quick, because you are in, the smiling through struggles. You're a try me guy, not a why me guy. You're not a victim. You've never been one. I'm doing a training on Friday on motivation versus inspiration, right? And my belief is that motivation's a soul sucker, but it gets you up. But inspiration is what gets you there. You cannot be motivated through an entire football game. You can't be motivated for an entire life, but you can live inspired. What distinction do you make between being motivated and inspired?
Okay. Motivation is similar to sugar or caffeine. Quick hit, quick adrenaline rush, go do something, right? That gets you an immediate result and a small term success, right? A motivation is something that, what were the two again?
Yeah, motivation is like sugar. Inspiration.
Okay. Inspiration are big, honest, lofty goals. And it's not usually money. It's usually something bigger than yourself. So if you can focus on that, that's consistent. So that, the problem with a caffeine spike, boop, down. Sugar, boop, down. If you're starving and you eat a big cheeseburger, you're going to take a nap right afterwards. So the energy that it was supposed to give you is only immediate. So I look for anything that can give me long-term North Star goals, and that's the difference to me. So quick shot, no problem. By the way, important, right? Sometimes we need I called Tillman Fertitta, my business partner, yesterday, and he, I needed a quick shot in the ass, right? I'm inspired in general, but I needed some motivation, and he gave it to me in about 90 seconds of texting, right? And it's all I needed, right? And then it reset me to my inspiration, and that is that we create great experiences, that we take care of the staffs take care of the guests take care of the bills, that we create authentic community driven experiences, like the cores of who we are. And I woke up this morning and be like, I'm inspired. So I think that's where I would end it.
Well, I love it, man. And you inspired me. Say hi to Tillman for me as well.
We'll do.
Join me anytime, my friend. If you need anything,
Thank you,
let
brother.
me know. Thank you. I'm a big fan.
Thank you. Same.
All right.
Back
I'll
at
be
you
the first
later.
one to order in California to go. Let me know in
Please,
delivery.
we'll get there soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Take care. Thanks, Eugene. There's a great entrepreneur, great perspective, great attitude. You can see there's a common denominator. There must be what you can be attitude with all the great entrepreneurs. And that is a guy that is struggling. His business has all been whacked. Like he said, it's an apocalypse, but a temporary and a segmented apocalypse, which makes it very difficult. So thank you so much. Let's take a couple more questions. Yeah, he was on fire. I don't know what Queenie was talking about on those comments that she was bored. I was learning. I was learning a lot. What's the future of fitness boutique brands such as Rumble, SoulCycle, etc.? Look, the future is stabilization and then growth. They have to figure out alternative methodologies in order to effectuate what they're teaching. And then once there's a vaccine, everybody will be back to working out together because it's so much fun, especially at Rumble. Dan McGinnis, good to see you, my friend. What keeps you focused? Clarity and balance keep me focused. So attention plus intention, that attention and intention balance with my core values, personal experiential giving, receiving values, is what allows me to get focused. Once I'm focused, I can put my intention back into what I'm focused on, which creates the coincidences that I want. Attention plus intention equals coincidence. How would you handle during sports marketing, modeling, and real estate after college? How would you handle doing sports marketing, modeling, and real estate after college? Be a student of your calendar, get mentorship, all the basics of how you would start anything. That's how I would deal with it. Good questions. Biggest lesson you learned about over leveraging in 2008. So 2008, it wasn't just over leveraging, right? It was understanding, asking for help, radical humility, realizing that even banks can become over leveraged and then they stop lending. Even if you have equity, even if you are credit worthy, they stop lending. And that banks can go from giving anybody money for any reason, including having a pulse, to not giving anybody any reason, even if they have all your money. And you're seeing that, right? You're seeing that. They make up every excuse there is about, oh, this, that, and that, or they make every excuse why they can give you money or why they can't. So you have to be prepared not to be able to borrow against anything, and make sure that you have a balanced system that is representative of what you want to support in your life, personally, experiential, giving and receiving. A spiritual investor, my brother, what's going on? Here we go. Let's take a couple more questions. Thank you for your questions, by the way. Makes this go so fast. Any quick tips for clearing your connection to what inspires you? Practice ending fear, inventory of your values, asking and attracting, be a student of your calendar, do it now. Those are the 5 best things. And we can get into more detail as we go on to Training Friday with inspiration and motivation. What books would you recommend for self-development? Course in Miracles, Wayne Dyer's Power of Intention, Think and Grow Rich, some of my favorites. Grab them. Connected to Goodness, my book, will help you as well. And I'm happy to send it to you for free. So just go ahead and david@dmeltzer.com. Text me at 949-298-2905. Join me Friday, 11 a.m. Pacific time for training. And we'll talk about all this. What's the biggest thing you look forward to every day? First, my meditation. Second, my health, whatever that activity, and then my family. So, I actually make it a practice to look forward to everything during my day. That's my practice, to find the light, the love, and the lessons in everything, to learn to love the percentage of what I'm doing that I don't love. And I keep on working on, the lenses that I have, the kaleidoscope. Is that Sangeeta Guru official in Quebec? What is the best way to feel positive when your surrounding is so negative? Cancel, clear, connect, right? Cancel all the negativity, understand it around you, pray for its happiness, clear your mind by breathing in through your nose, out through your mouth, like a ferocious Buddha, and then connecting to that source and regulating and identifying what that connection is, what is interfering with that connection, what's corroding that connection, who is corroding that connection, all of those different things. What does it look like when you effectively seize the opportunity? You feel good. That's the temperature right there, man. That's it's not your bank account. When you feel good, you're doing it right. You're seizing things effectively. And I highly encourage people to feel good. And that's my biggest motivation is happiness, and to empower others to be happy. It's the only reason I do the free trainings, is to find 1,000 people, to empower 1,000 people, to empower 1,000 people to be happy. I want to create a collective consciousness of happiness, over 1 billion people to be happy. Deepak podcast is out today. Thank you, Dan. Yeah, check it out. It's pretty deep, but I had an amazing time with Deepak Chopra. Check out the podcast today. It's extraordinary podcast. So you can probably watch that 10 times and learn more and more each time. I've listened so many times trying to see exactly what vibration can raise my awareness. Should we take advantage of social media ads now? Absolutely. If you have a brand, if you have a message, if you have a solution, a service, or a product, this is the best time to take advantage of social media ads. More people are watching, and it's the least expensive it's been in a long, long time. So please take advantage of that type of media. Remember, there's 4 things that we do to market, to ask, and attract: in person, on the phone, via email, and social media. All right. So go ahead, grab those. Social media is a bargain right now. How do you get better every day? Enjoy the consistent, persistent pursuit of your potential. And you have to know one thing in order to do that: your what, not your why. Your why will evolve from enjoying the consistent, persistent pursuit of your potential. Know your what. Balance those values. Find out what you want. Get clear, balanced, and focused on that what, and you will be inspired. You will get confidence. You will take your possibility and make it into a probability. How do you balance faith, family, finances, and fitness? So those are a lot of F's. Those are all values in Team New Vision. Did it take you long to find the balance? I don't believe in balance. Right? I believe in a lifetime of balance. But today I take a personal inventory, not afraid of being a hypocrite, not voting for what anybody else's wants. But I look at those different things: family, fitness, fit, and I say to myself, today, what am I going to do? It might be 80% fitness today and 10% family. But every day I try to do a little bit, but my never balanced. Some days are more than others on certain areas. And in the end of my life, it'll all balance out. What is the name of your theta meditation coach? Dr. Sangeeta Sahi. Go ahead, email me, david@dmeltzer.com. Be happy to introduce you to her. Text me at 949-298-2905. We're going to do training for free again every Friday, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. We will have this week inspiration versus motivation. How do we raise our emotional IQ? Practice. How do we raise anything? Practice. The emotional IQ is via all types of practice, from meditative practice to activity you get paid for, activity you don't get paid for. All these different perspectives of how to be more productive, how to be more accessible, how to be more gracious in what we do. Thank you for subscribing to the playbook. You can listen to Deepak and many, many others with great vibrations, enlightenment, and understanding, and raising your awareness to make life simple. The more you and higher you vibrate, the higher your frequency, the more you can be aware of, including when to buy or sell. What book are you currently reading? Actually, The Human Operation System. I just started reading this morning, so it's a good book. I'm not sure who wrote it, but it's on my desk over there. I'm trying to look, so check it out. I also read the Course in Miracles every day and Think and Grow Rich every day. 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, a phenomenal book. You can go ahead and post up your favorite books right now. We're going to take one more question and then call it a day. What does it look like when you effectively seize an opportunity? Oh, happiness. We already took that one. I've just joined from South African Human Operations by Hugh. Go ahead, email me or text me at that number. Email me if you're out of the country, david@dmeltzer.com. I'll get you who it is. How you ever met Gary Vee? At the Super Bowl, I helped him with his sports agency and he's helped me with my brand. One of my mentors, and just really very, very abundant person and very kind. Very smart, by the way. Please, can I go live, David? Yeah, come on tomorrow, 8 a.m. We'll go live. Thank you so much, everybody. Friday training, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. Invite your friends. We're trying to empower over 1 billion people to be happy. It's free. Don't worry. I won't sell you anything. I promise. We'll give you my books for free, the exercises, the guides for free. Join me 11 a.m. Please email me, david@dmeltzer.com, or text me if in America, 949-298-2905. Thank you, everyone. Be kind to your future self and do good deeds.